This is the Witcher book series. Currently there are 9 books in the mainline Witcher series written by Andrzej Sapkowski. Yes, I'm probably pronouncing that very badly. I apologise to all of my Polish followers. You may have heard about the Witcher series through the TV show, which gained a lot of notoriety over the past few years. I personally learned about The Witcher through the Witcher 3 video game, which is one of my favourite RPGs, and if you're like me and you wanted to start reading the actual book series after playing the games, or maybe you watch the show and want to see how it translates from the original source material, then I'm going to tell you the best ways in which to enjoy the Witcher book series, in my opinion. Now, the first book that's technically published, I believe, was The Sword of Destiny in 1992. However, a lot of people will tend to start with The Last Wish, which was actually published in 1993, I believe. This is because The Last Wish kind of works better as a first book than The Sword of Destiny, though both are a collection of short stories. But I would recommend reading The Last Wish before The Sword of Destiny, and then from then you can read in publishing order, so going through the normal mainline Witcher series, followed by the most recent books, which is the Season of Storms, which kind of acts like a bit of a prequel, and more recently in 2024, the release of The Crossroad of Ravens, which is definitely a prequel following young Geralt in his early days of being a Witcher. There is another way if you want to read this series, and that is in chronological order. So starting with the most recent, which is The Crossroad of Ravens, following from that, you probably want to then go into The Last Wish. And then, honestly, I feel like it's a little bit of a toss-up between Season of Storms and Sword of Destiny. All 3 of those books are kind of like prequel-y, following more Geralt and Dandelion, aka Jaskier, on like little adventures that predate sort of Geralt and Ciri's adventures. But you can kind of read them in whatever order. Maybe start with The Last Wish, followed by Season of Storms, followed by Sword of Destiny, and then all the rest. So it's quite difficult to get it wrong unless you start picking up random books willy-nilly from the series. However, my go-to would probably be starting with The Last Wish. I think it's a fantastic book to start off with, especially with it being short stories. I think that's a great way to get a taster into the world of The Witcher. And if you enjoyed The Last Wish, you can then maybe go back to The Crossroad of Ravens to get Geralt's prequel story, or move on to another short story book like The Sword of Destiny, or The Season of Storms. What you definitely don't want to do is mix up the order between, Blood of the Elves and Lady of the Lake. All of these in this order, you will have to read in this order because it will make no sense. I will say, if you're coming from the video games into the books, there is less of a transition because the source material is